Temperance Brennan is back once again. Evil Bones is the new title from the legendary New York Times best-selling author, Kathy Reichs. It's a real pleasure to meet you, Kathy.
Nice to meet you. I like that use of the term legendary. My goodness, makes me sound ancient.
I'm up there too. But you are certainly a legend. And you're a real-life forensic anthropologist, professor, and the inspiration of the Bones TV series. What an amazing career. And Evil Bones, just out, is the 24th book in the series. I'm now into it. Plenty to keep you up at night in more ways than one. Give us a bit of an overview, Kathy.
Oh my goodness. I thought I would like to take a look at evil. What is evil? How do different cultures define evil? How do they deal with it? And is there a baseline? Is there something everybody universally considers evil? So I think of this, each of my books, I give them a little nickname, and I think of this as my animal book. It has to do with cruelty and abuse of animals.
And you're shining a light on animal cruelty taken to the extreme here, granted. I know you've had a passion for animal welfare for a long time.
That's correct, as does my character, Temperance Brennan. She feels very strongly about animal cruelty.
So, what do you take from real events and crimes in your storytelling, Kathy? We know the forensic science is based on reality.
It varies from book to book. In some, the idea is what we used to call in the writer's room for Bones, ripped from the headlines, where I will see something in a news article and I will then start the typical process I use of, well, okay, what if this and what if that and what if that? And I'll take that starting point that I saw in the media and pose those questions to myself and then spin it off into fiction.
I imagine that your work has influenced your perceptions of good and evil. I know a lot of people working in law enforcement, and I know many, they're influenced, certainly.
Yes, but on both ends of the spectrum, because I do see the worst, some of the things that people can do to other people that come through my lab. But I also see the best. I see the cops that I work with and the scientists that I work with and the families of the victims that I identify. So I see both ends of that, the best in people and the worst in people.
In the decades that you've been writing and working in the field, forensic science has seen new technologies come into play, certainly. Tell us about bringing those new advancements into your writing.
Yeah, I try to do something different in every book. I don't want to just do bones after bones after bones. So in each of the books, they're good old murder mysteries, but the difference is the solution, at least in part, is driven by some aspect of forensic science. So I touch on something different in each of the stories. And I'm very fortunate because I am a practitioner and I'm a member of the American Academy of Forensic Sciences. So each year I go to our meeting. Our annual meeting moves around. I think this year it's in New Orleans. I don't remember. It's always in February. And I go to all the different sections. We have 9, 10, 11 sections. There's anthropology, there's pathology, there's dentistry, there's fire and arson, there's criminalistics, chemistry. So I go to all those different sections and I sit in on their papers and I talk to colleagues in the different fields to get ideas. I'm always out there with my feelers out for new ideas to bring in different aspects of forensic science into a story.
Are there certain new technologies or things that we're doing with DNA today that excite you the most in terms of
Well,
advancement?
yeah, from the time I started writing, that is the new technology. DNA didn't exist when I started the first Temperance Brennan book, which I started it in 1994. So yeah, there are certainly developments. Anthropology isn't a really high tech forensic science specialty. We use bone saws and we use X-rays, and we might do some biochemical testing kinds of things. But basically, we're looking at bones and trying to tease from the skeleton what we can, either about mainly I address two questions: identity. Who is it? Maybe this body, we have no idea who it is, or we think it's John Doe. Can we verify that it's John Doe? And then, second of all, what happened to this person? What was the manner or cause of death?
Is AI having an impact in the field? And I imagine it's affecting every field
Yeah,
to some extent.
I suppose, it's just computerization under a new name. I think what is AI? It's using some technical thing to address questions and to solve problems.
Right. It's looking at the wealth of knowledge that's out there already,
Yeah.
sometimes good, sometimes maybe not so good, and making assumptions from that. So, do you think it's going to have a big impact in the years ahead, though, and with the advancements that they talk about?
In AI,
Yeah.
well, it's carrying computerization to a greater degree. Yes, certainly it's going to be hopefully for the good. Although, there are potential downsides.
What about the field of writing and what you would tell young people today? And a lot of them are in college and they're using AI, sometimes encouraged to with the work that they're doing in school. So,
As far as creative writing, I'd say stay away from it, and the encouragement I've always, or the advice I've always given to wannabe writers is write. Sit down and write, even if you're not in the mood for it every day. Sit down and write something, whether you want to keep a journal or a diary or write short stories or start your novel or whatever, just do it. Also, for those that are trying to break into the field as debut author, join a writers group, bounce your ideas off of others that are trying their hand at writing. And yeah, I think that's probably a good idea.
is there a secret to the longevity of your career, Kathy?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I have always been blessed with great publishers. When I did the first book, I didn't have a publisher, and I just sent it in over the transom, as they used to say in the old days, just blind, sent in the big honking manuscript, hard copy. I don't think there's any magic to it. I think the magic is perseverance. If I was lucky, the first publisher to whom I sent it bought it and published it, and that became Deja Dead, and it went right onto the bestseller lists. But it doesn't usually. I was going to say often, but it doesn't usually work that way. So just stay with it. And I'd also say get an agent. I've heard publishers say they don't even look at material that's not represented by an agent. So I would encourage those breaking into the field to get an agent.
Well, that first person certainly made a wise decision, so in more ways than one. You have a young adult fiction series too, Virals with your son Brendan, who
Right.
I've read is a so-called recovering attorney.
Yes, yes. We did 6 books. We did the first one very intensely together. We would take off our mother-son hats and put on our co-author hats. I did a lot of the outlining and the plotting of the story. He did a lot of the, day-to-day writing of it. And then I would take his work and destroy it, as he would say. I would do the editing. And then we would go over it again and again until we were satisfied with it. So it worked. It worked for after the first book, I handed more and more of that over to him. So by the 6th book in the Viral series, he was really writing those himself.
That's exciting. Got to be rewarding to you too. And your daughters have also been involved in writing, right?
My older daughter is an author, Kerry, Kerry Reichs. She does contemporary women's literature, and she has, I think, 4 books out there.
So this does run in the family. Are your grandchildren writing yet?
I'm not sure. I've got 6 of them, and they range from 15 down to how old is Hazel? Hazel is now 10. So they're in that kind of middle kid size right now. I don't know if any of them is interested in writing or not.
Has your writing process changed over these years?
Not a whole lot. I've never, they talk about pantsers and plotters, people who plot everything out and do diagrams and outlines, and then pantsers, those who go by the seat of their pants. I'm kind of a hybrid. I will, and always have from the beginning, outline maybe the first 6 to 8 chapters of the book, and then I just start writing, and then I just pants it from there. Now, I posthumously, I guess you could say, as a postmortem, keep an outline. As I finish every chapter, I enter that into an outline. By the time I finish the book, then I do have a complete outline of chapter by chapter by chapter how the action is going, so that if I need to go back and find something, correct something, change something, I do have that outline which I've created retrospectively.
Now tell me about your method there in creating chapters. I've noticed that they're not extraordinarily long or something, so it seems like you're being considerate to the reader here in creating chapters that I don't want to, they're not bite-sized, but they're, within a reading session length very often.
Well, when I started out to write the first book, I didn't have a clue what I was doing or how to do it. I've got no training in creative writing at all. I just wanted to write the kind of book I like to read. And that's how I like to read. That's the kind of pacing I like in a book, is those relatively short chapters, but not just like one page.
So with all of the writing and professional work, you're still doing that, I assume, right?
Oh no,
And
I'm pretty much retired.
okay,
I'm
well,
pretty much retired. I'm writing some short stories and some specialty pieces. I think of them, but I'm in between contracts. I just finished when I turned in the manuscript for Evil Bones, the latest Temperance Brennan book. That's the last for which I'm under contract. So I have to decide what I'm on hiatus, as we would say in television. So I'm deciding where I'm going from here.
a typical day for you, do you still try to write every day, even when you're on this hiatus?
I do, not as intensively as I did when I was under contract, because I always had a book a year contract. So I had to crank out a book every year. So I did have to get up, get out of bed, get and set at the computer. I don't know, 4 or 5 hours every day was my Monday through Friday at least. Well, no, pretty much every day was my goal. I don't feel that pressure now, but I do write. I do write pretty much every day. I write something.
That's just wonderful. Well, the title once again is Evil Bones, Kathy Reichs. Buy it for yourself and others on your gift list.
Okay.
Kathy, thank you again for spending time with us.
Thank you for inviting me.